Hello and welcome to Euphoria. Today I'm going to be building this set, which is Lego set 60230, and it's called Space Research and Development People Pack. This set includes 15 minifigures if you include this robot, and it's got lots of mini builds and interesting activities for the minifigs, including a treadmill, a drone, growing pod with a plant, robot stand and a welder, test rocket, and lots more activities and accessories. I'm interested in this set because I want to build a research institute for my Lego city. The institute will look at the development of modern technological devices. You can see how I'm getting on with the development of that design by looking at the other videos on my channel. When I was developing the concept for that building, I developed a backstory for the building, and the development of that backstory made me look again at this Lego People Pack. I hadn't been interested in this set for my city because 7 of the minifigs are astronauts, but I think they could be easily repurposed as only 3 of them are in spacesuits, and the others could fit in really well as technicians in a research institute. This set is from 2019 and was supposedly an exclusive to John Lewis in the UK and Lego shops. Lego now seem to regard it as a retired product, but there seem to be some still available at John Lewis. This set costs £35 and has 208 parts. That's about 16p per part, which sounds quite expensive, but when you consider that you're getting 15 minifigures, 12 of which are unique to this set, and minifigures would normally be £2 or £3 each, plus all the other accessories, I think it's quite a good value set. So the set comes in a normal Lego City type box with several pictures on the front and the back of the various parts and scenes that you can make with the elements in this set. The set claims to be inspired by NASA careers, and various kinds of science and technology and engineering are shown in action on the box. So let's open the box and start on the builds. So when you open the box, you get 1, 2, 3 bags and 2 instruction booklets. The first one covering bags 1 and 2, and obviously a subset of the little builds, and the other instruction booklet covers bag 3 and the remainder of the builds. So if I start with bag 1, that makes 3 things. It makes the astronaut standing on a rock with his flag. It makes a drone and a drone engineer with a kind of clean suit. And it makes a robot on its stand with a welder that's presumably kind of making or fixing the robot. It looks like there are some interesting pieces in this part of the set. For example, for the robot you get this gold minifigure head and a rather complicated white torso moulding, as well as these dual coloured leg and feet pieces, and these two rather nice printed hazard warning tiles. For the welder, you obviously get the minifigure parts, plus you get a nice dark blue toolbox, and of course the welding tool itself. For the drone engineer, you get the clean room hairnet and the rather severe looking visor and mask, as well as a rather unique tile which is meant to be the controller for the drone, as well as the clean room suit itself, consisting of the minifigure upper part with blue hands and plain white minifigure lower part. And for the astronaut, you get a helmet with visor and of course all the astronaut minifig parts. So let's put these little mini builds and minifigures together and we'll see what they look like when they're all assembled. So the build of this rock is nothing very special, it's just a few slopes. It has a flag on it, although the flag doesn't even have a sticker on it or a print. It does, however, have this rather nice little geode piece, which has a kind of pink insert and catches the light nicely. So that is quite a nice little piece. For me, I suppose it represents space exploration. Not sure it's really about research and development, but nevertheless I'm sure I can use these pieces and this minifigure somehow in my research institute. The drone is a very simple but rather effective build, just using these antenna pieces and one brick with studs on all four sides. So this drone's a very simple but effective little build. It has the spinning propeller on the top, and it does have a kind of red light piece underneath, which is actually a flat round tile, and it's a shame that that isn't a piece with a hole in it. So if that would have been like one of these pieces instead, then you would still have a hole in the bottom, which you could then use to mount on some kind of maybe a transparent stalk so that it was flying. Now I haven't got a long transparent piece, but I have got a long pink piece that came from a completely different set, and I've just mounted that on a couple of bricks here so that I can make that fit into the bottom of the drone, and then it will stand on the table looking like it's flying. Of course, there are other ways to do it. You could use something like this plate with a bar and then attach maybe a little bit of bar into the top and put that in the bottom of the drone. And that way the drone would be quite stable and you could include it in a diorama or somewhere in your city. The robot's quite a nice little mini build. The base just consists of this 4x4 plate with the two kind of hazard tiles on it and a place to stand the robot itself. The robot is made out of this kind of grey skeleton piece with two bad robot arms and these rather specific to this set feet, which just kind of clip on like this. And then you have this moulding for the robot body, which just goes over the top with a gold minifigure head on the top, and then a space helmet pretty much like the astronaut's space helmet but without the visor. And then it's finished off with these two kind of grippers for hands, which maybe make it slightly menacing looking, but I think it's a great looking robot with lots of posability and makes a really good kind of little minifigure build, which then goes back on its stand where it can be serviced or maintained by this welder guy. So there we have the first 3 mini builds from this set. Now we can move on to opening the second bag. Again, it looks like lots of interesting parts in this set. Obviously lots of minifigure parts, a dome, magnifying glass, and this strange alien head. So let's see what these look like and what we make out of them. So again, there's lots of great parts in this bag. Obviously most of the parts are for making the minifigures. You've got the 2 astronauts over here, which have, I think there's 1 female and 1 male astronaut, and they have their helmets and visors as well as alternative hair pieces. You've got this guy who's a camera operator with his camera. You've got this female scientist, probably a botanist, looking after the plant experiment, and this guy who I guess is a reporter, as well as fantastic pieces like this rubbery alien headpiece and quite a few other pieces to make all the accessories for this part of the set. So let's start with the assembly of the little mini builds for this part of the set. So the 2 astronaut minifigs are essentially the same. They have the same torso. Obviously one has a female face and the other one has a male face with a moustache, and you can kind of put the appropriate hair on each one. However, with the female figure, the hair goes down her back and kind of over the shoulder, which is fine, but that doesn't work if you have the oxygen pack on the back as well. So she either has to have her hair down with no oxygen pack, or put her helmet on and have the oxygen pack. It's also worth noting that these 2 astronauts are in orange suits with a kind of white belt, and they have a light transparent blue visor, whereas the other astronaut that we had on the kind of planet environment has a blue suit and an orange visor. But still, I think they're really good little minifigs, and they come with this alien head on a stick, which they seem to be using in the scenario on the box anyway, as part of a kind of interview situation. Whether they're discussing what they would do if they saw an alien, I don't really know, but it's a very unusual piece, and makes for quite an interesting looking scenario when you pose the figures with the alien head. So the other minifigures are this camera operator in a floral shirt with his very impressive looking video camera that is one of the few handed pieces that I've seen, so it really only works in his right hand. But he's got spiky hair and makes a nice fun videographer. Then this female scientist with her working magnifying glass and a kind of lab coat arrangement with a ID pass as well. And then this rather cheeky looking reporter with his handy microphone doing his interview with the astronauts. So that's the minifigures that come in this part of the set, and I'll just move on to make the accessories that go with them, and we'll see what they look like. So here you make a little trolley with a computer screen and keyboard, and another one of these rock pieces or geodes with the pink insets in it. Presumably that's kind of an analysis station to work out what the composition of this rock is. So here you have the construction of this rather nice little botany station with its multicoloured lamp and some kind of plant growing in a dome, which the female botanist can inspect to see whether it's growing properly. There you go. And actually you can change around the colours of these lights here to give perhaps different lighting effects on the plant to see what effect that has on the plant's growth. So I guess with these minifigures there's kind of two scenes going on here. There's the interview scene with the reporter, cameraman and the two astronauts, presumably talking about their explorations and the possibility of finding aliens. And then you have the scientist scene with the plant and the geology experiments going on over here. Really, I think you could use one of the other technicians to man this geology station to make sure that that analysis is going to plan. Now obviously you can use these minifigures however you like, but I think these are two really effective scenes which make good use of the minifigures and the accessories that come with them. So that's what happens in the second bag, and now we'll move on to the third and final bag. So with this bag you get parts for 6 minifigures, 3 of which are more or less the same blue technician type guys. There's another scientist or medical officer with a stethoscope. You get another guy that's the same kind of torso pieces as the Welder, but with a different head. And these pieces make an astronaut with an EVA suit. There's also 2 rather nice dual moulded hat and hair pieces. There's this one with a white construction hat and a dark brown ponytail. And there's this one, which is a red baseball cap with a brown ponytail and a kind of red scrunchy thing on the hair, which is a really nice dual moulded piece. Of course you also get the parts to make the accessories for these minifigures, which include a treadmill, a kind of centrifuge with two beds that rotate and what looks like a test rocket. So let's put these together and see what they look like when they're all assembled. So the first thing you build is this rather fun scene with a technician or astronaut in training on a treadmill. It's quite a nice little treadmill, got a very good little kind of readout thing here so she can tell how well she's doing, how fast she's going and so on. And then this kind of strange arrangement with this person who I think is a girl because she's got long hair, and she must be a kind of personal trainer stroke medic, and she's trying to motivate the girl on the treadmill with both a megaphone in the one hand and a pizza dangling on a whip in the other hand, which is kind of a strange way to motivate an astronaut, I would have thought. And then here you have a set of discarded pizza boxes and a rubbish bin, or maybe they're full pizza boxes, so that when this astronaut in training has achieved her goal, she can stuff her way through 3 pizzas. I'm not sure that's entirely NASA policy, but nevertheless I think this makes a really fun little scene. So the next thing is this technician and this test rocket. Technician is basically the same minifigure torso and legs as the welder guy, although obviously you don't get the welding helmet. You do get a double-sided print on the headpiece. On the one side it's this, I think, a girl's face but with a blue visor. On the other side you get this rather severe looking guy's face with a beard and a fringe. But in either case you get this white hat with a ponytail, and if you turn the head round you get a guy with a grey beard and a brown ponytail, which is kind of strange. And anyway, this person comes with a cup, and they're supposed to go with this, which is a test rocket on a stand. That's quite a simple little build, but quite effective. It's just a few circular pieces and this kind of robot body piece, I think it's called, which clips onto the top of the stand and allows the rocket to rotate, possibly out of control. The next thing is this minifigure in a kind of white flight suit, again with the space logo on the torso and some rather good orange detail on the torso and the legs, and this quite impressive mould, which is the basis of a little assembly here forming a kind of EVA suit with rocket pack at the back. Now you don't get any hair for this minifigure, so I guess he has to go inside the EVA suit, and then you get this really impressive minifigure with a rocket pack and a light, and they also get a camera. So I guess the idea is that this astronaut is doing an EVA and taking pictures of space to send back to Earth. The fact that he won't stand up is kind of annoying, but he's obviously got a very heavy
set of equipment on him. There we go. So the last part of this set consists of these two technicians or astronauts in training, and this quite impressive little mini build of a centrifuge. The idea being that these two guys can lie on these beds and be spun around, and once they're clipped on, if you hold one end of this down, you can indeed spin them around at whatever speed you like. And in fact, because of that, you can see that these guys have rather strange expressions. This one looks particularly uncomfortable, and this guy looks pretty scared about the whole idea. If you don't want to use those expressions, they do have dual printed heads. So the alternate one for this guy is a kind of bemused looking expression. And for this guy, maybe looks slightly happier. So perhaps he's finished his test and he's going to go for some pizza. Really, I think they ought to have this medico looking after them if they're going to be spinning round like that. But altogether, I think that, again, that's a really good little scene that you can make with these minifigures and this accessory. So altogether, I think my opinion of this set's changed having built it. It's really quite an impressive selection of minifigures and accessories on a theme that's all kind of fits together, of space, research, development and exploration. I think what's really good about this set is that there's a variety of male and female minifigures and lots of different activities, including medical research, training, biology, engineering, robotics, rocket science and geology. Plus there's inclusion of the media and education aspect of science, technology, engineering and medicine. So although you could argue it's difficult to fit these into a normal city environment, I think there's such a lot of play value in this set, and these minifigures and activities are going to fit really well into my research institute. So I think this is a really good set, and it's a shame it had such a short run and is now retired. So I'm really glad that I got this set. I've really enjoyed putting all the minifigures and little scenes together, and I look forward to using them in my mocks. What do you think? Should LEGO produce more of these kind of sets in the future? Generally, I think the people packs are really good, so I'll be looking out for the next ones that come out and hope to get more minifigures to bring life to my mocks and my LEGO city. Thanks for watching. Please like this video if you did like it, and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos about LEGO, modular buildings and my LEGO city.